Hi, welcome back to Recapped Mystery. Today I will show you an action, drama, horror film from 2021, titled Old. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The Coppa family, parents Guy and Priska and their children 8-year-old Maddox and 6-year-old Trent, show up at an extravagant retreat for a family excursion. In the wake of sinking into their rooms, Trent becomes a close acquaintance with a little fellow named Idlib, and they do exercises like ask other hotel benefactors what their names and occupations are, and Idlib shows Trent an exceptional code to translate messages. In the meantime, Guy and Priska talk about that this is only one final outing they needed to give the children before they separate, which is aggravated on the grounds that Priska is experiencing a stomach cancer. At breakfast, a moderately aged doctor named Charles is sitting with his younger vain spouse Crystal, girl Kara, and his mom Agnes. Close by, a lady named Patricia is having an epileptic seizure, which Charles assists with while her better half Jaren additionally attempts to help. Trent likewise spots Idlib, as they made arrangements to hang out again that day, yet the hotel supervisor makes him leave the region. The Coppas, in addition to Charles and his family, all board a van that takes them to a private oceanside. There, Maddox perceives a rapper, mid-size sedan/genuine named Brendan Smith, who was prior seen with a female friend who went thin plunging. The children all play together while the grown-ups relax on the sand. The young ladies observe old dolls covered in the sand, left behind by different children. Trent swims by a cavern when he finds the body of Brendan's buddy, clearly having suffocated. The grown-ups analyze the body, while Brendan is experiencing nosebleeds and is similarly shocked at the revelation. Charles associates Brendan with treachery, however he keeps up with that the lady just took a dip and never returned. Not long later, Agnes starts to miss the mark concerning breath before she additionally passes on. Jaren and Patricia show up at the oceanside too, yet individuals who brought them are now gone. The children likewise begin to encounter something strange. Brendan discloses to the grown-ups that the lady he was with had numerous sclerosis while he has hemophilia, which clarifies his consistent nosebleeds. Jaren and Patricia converse with Trent and Maddox, who have out of nowhere matured up into pre-youngsters, alongside Kara. A few endeavors are made to leave the oceanside, by going through the stones that nearby off the oceanside from an external perspective. However, every one of the grown-ups that endeavor to go through feel a beating in their minds before they shut down and wind up back on the ocean front. They likewise notice uncommon things, similar to when Charles assaults Brendan with a blade. The cut imprint mends in no time. Not long later, Brendan observes that the dead body of the lady he was with has now completely disintegrated to only bones in no time, causing them to understand that there is something time-related happening near the ocean. Out of nowhere, the growth in Priska's stomach begins to cause her aggravation and trouble. The grown-ups attempt to help her, with them searching for the cancer from the get-go and portraying it as the size of a golf ball. They continue to do a medical procedure to eliminate the cancer, which has now developed to the size of a melon. The cut in Priska's stomach mends quickly after the strategy. Trent and Kara age up significantly more into youngsters/youthful grown-ups. What's more is that Kara has some way or another become 5 months pregnant inside merely minutes after clearly having intercourse with Trent minutes sooner. The grown-ups set themselves up for the birth, which happens rather rapidly. However, the child passes on following a moment because of absence of consideration. Different grown-ups begin to give more apparent indications of maturing, yet Crystal takes the interaction a lot harder than the others. Charles begins to freak out to schizophrenia, driving him to cut Brendan to a ridiculous degree. The others remove his weapon while attempting to think of a substitute arrangement of break. Realizing they can't go through the stones, Jaren endeavors to swim to track down an exit plan. While this occurs, Trent and Maddox go over a notepad left by a past guest, with names and ailments recorded. They additionally notice what resembles individuals somewhere out there noticing them. Maddox converses with Priska concerning whether or not she and Guy are separating. Priska concedes that she was seeing another man. Despite the fact that Priska attempts to account for herself, Maddox is irate with her. She goes out to the ocean side and endeavors to be solid and track down an exit plan herself, yet she observes Jaren's body, evidently having gone oblivious and suffocated. After seeing his body, Patricia experiences a deadly seizure. Kara then, at that point, frantically attempts to track down an exit plan and fires ascending the stones to attempt to come to the top. However, before she can make it sufficiently high, she also passes out and tumbles to her demise, leaving Trent crushed. It is presently evening. Charles has barely hung in there while Crystal is likewise flying off the handle at her fast maturing and declining actual state. Fellow is likewise losing his visual perception, and Priska is observably grayer. Fellow and Priska talk about the other man in Priska's life, with Guy concealing he had some awareness of him and wanted that he did more to keep their marriage working. However, he likewise takes note of that the other person is a failure and that she merits somebody better. Charles then, at that point, begins to assault Guy and Priska, while Trent and Maddox are assaulted by Crystal when they attempt to take a gander at her. She follows them into the cavern and her body becomes wounded and reshaped to horrendous points before she bites the dust there. Priska then, at that point, slices Charles with a corroded blade, causing a disease that quickly spreads through his body and kills him. The coppers then, at that point, accumulate around the pit fire and the ocean side. The currently old Guy is struggling talking and recalling things. Yet he basically concedes to Priska that he actually cherishes her not long before he kicks the bucket. Priska then, at that point, remains standing briefly yet falls and kicks the bucket close by while the two children grieve their folks. In the first part of the day, Trent and Maddox are presently in their 50s. Trent raises a code that Idlib gave him, which he interpreted and sorted out signifies my uncle generally tries to avoid the coral. The kin spot a coral reef close by and understand that it should be out. The two swim out there, yet Maddox's clothing stalls out on the coral. At the point when the two don't re-emerge, Theo, the van driver that carried the families to the ocean side, reports to his supervisors, from his perception post on a bluff sitting above the ocean side, that all individuals from Trial 73 have died. At the point when Theo drives back to the hotel and to a lab region, it is then uncovered that the retreat is a front for a clinical exploration group named Warren & Warren that draws individuals with ailments to the ocean side to perform clinical preliminaries for life-saving medications, given to them in the mixed drinks served after showing up. They realize that the otherworldly ocean side speeds up the maturing system, so they lessen the preliminaries to an entire day for better outcomes. They accept they restored Patricia's epilepsy since she didn't have a seizure for 8 hours, which is identical to around 16 years on the beach. The resort manager and others endeavor to poach their most recent casualties until they are halted by Trent and Maddox, who figured out how to liberate themselves from the coral. Trent observes a man he addressed when he was as yet a child, realizing the man is a cop. He hands the man the diary found near the ocean, which subtleties the names of many missing individuals and their ailments. Idlib comes out and perceives Trent even as a grown-up. Trent and Maddox uncover reality to everybody while all the retreat staff acknowledges they are in a bad way. Specialists come to capture all the hotel workers, while in the last scene, the official removes Trent and Maddox by helicopter from the island to be with their auntie, who isn't prepared to see that her niece and nephew are totally mature grown-ups.